Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our today lecture. Our today lecture is based on the assumption of OLS. In today lecture we will discuss what are the assumption of OLS. Before applying OLS, you have to check all of these assumptions. Okay. What is the first assumption? The first assumption is that linear regression model. Your model must be linear in term of parameters and in term of variables. Okay, this model is linear both in the form of variables and in the form of parameters. Okay, here beta 1 is the intercept, beta 2 is the coefficient of the xi is our variable, and all the variables in this model and the parameter in this model have linear in the form. Okay, all these variables have power 1. If the model is non-linear in term of parameter, then we cannot apply OLS. If the model is non-linear in term of variables, then we can apply OLS. So parameter linearity matters a lot. What does it mean? Let's discuss it in detail. For suppose if we have a model like this, y equals to alpha plus beta x square. This model is linear in form of parameter but non-linear in form of variable. Okay, so the question arises whether we can apply OLS on this model or not. This model is non-linear in term of variable, but we can make it linear by taking log. If we take log on both sides of these variable on the model, then this model will become linear. Okay, if we take log on both sides of the model, then this model will become linear and we can apply OLS on it. Okay, now let's talk about this model. This model says y equals to alpha plus beta square x. This model is linear in form of variable, but this model is not linear in the form of parameters. Okay, this model is non-linear in form of parameter. We cannot make it linear by taking log. As you know that derivatives and log apply on the variables. Okay, when we take log on both sides of this model remains still non-linear. Okay, so we cannot apply OLS on it. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, parameter linearity matters a lot. If model is non-linear in term of variable, we can make it linear by taking log. But if our model is non-linear in form of parameters, then we cannot make it linear by taking log. So it is compulsory that your model is linear in form of parameters. Okay, this is the first assumption for applying OLS, that your model is linear in form of parameters and variable. What is the second assumption? The second assumption is that no relationship between ui and xi. If there exists a relationship between array term and your independent variable, then it will create the problem of endogeneity and you cannot apply OLS on your model. What is the third assumption? The third assumption is that no autocorrelation. What is autocorrelation? Autocorrelation means that when the two array terms are correlated with each other, okay, then this will create the problem of autocorrelation, and in case of autocorrelation you cannot apply the OLS on your model. Okay, there should be no relation between two consecutive array terms. If there exists relation between two array terms, then it will create the problem of autocorrelation and we can't apply OLS on our model. Okay, what is the fourth assumption? The fourth assumption is that homoscedasticity, equal variance. In our model, our variance should be equal. If our variance is not equal, it will create the problem of heteroscedasticity in our model. And in case of heteroscedasticity, we can't apply OLS. Okay. Given the value of x, the variance in ui is the same for all observation. Okay. The variance of all observations should be same. A variance ui given xi expected ui minus expected ui over xi whole square expected ui square over x equals to sigma square u. If there is I with these two or one of these two, it means that variance is changing. And when variance is changing, it will create the problem of heteroscedasticity in the data. And in case of heteroscedasticity, we can't apply the OLS model. Okay. So first of all, you have to remove the problem of hetero, and then you can apply the OLS model on your data. Okay, so this is the fourth assumption, that there exists homoscedasticity. Homoscedasticity is our ideal situation, and heteroscedasticity is not our ideal situation. Okay, now what is the fifth assumption? The fifth assumption is that zero mean value of disturbance term. Given the value of x, the mean or expected value of random disturbance term ui is 0. Yeah. What does it mean? It means that the mean of the array term must be equals to 0. What is the sixth assumption? The sixth assumption is that number of observation must be greater than the number of parameters. Let it explain. If you have data of 5 years and you have more than 5 variables, then you cannot estimate the model. Okay, here n representing the number of observations and xi representing the number of variable. So n number of observations, number of years must be always greater than the number of variables. Okay, then you can estimate your model. If your observation are less than your variables, then you cannot estimate your model. So for estimating the model, it is compulsory necessary that your observations are must be greater than your variables. What is the seventh assumption? The seventh assumption is that x must be variable. What does it mean? It means that x values must not be constant. Here you can see that a variable x, if it has all values same, okay, then on the basis of these values we cannot predict or forecast the values of dependent variable. So this is not true. X values must be changing, as this is the case. Okay, on the basis of these values we can predict and forecast the values of our dependent variable. This model is true. So this is the seventh assumption, that our variable values must be changing. Okay, and what is the eighth assumption? The eighth assumption is that model should be correctly specified. Functional form should be correct. What does it mean? It means that if there exists a linear relationship between your variable, then you must have to write the model in linear form. If your variable have quadratic relationship, then you must write your model in quadratic form. So your functional form should be correct. Write your model according to the relationship between these variables. If they have quadratic relationship, write it in quadratic form. If they have linear relationship, then write your model in a linear form. And variable should be appropriate. It is one of the most important thing for economics model or econometrics model. When you are doing a research, doing a thesis, you must know the theory behind your economics model. You must know that why you are taking these variable. Your independent variable must have relationship with your dependent variable. Before selecting the variables, try to build the theory between these variable, you must know that what kind of a relationship exists between these variable. If you select those variable which are not affecting your dependent variable, then you are not going to get good result. Okay, so before making economics model, you must be clear that what is the relationship between your dependent and independent variable, and whether there exists some kind of relationship between your dependent and independent variable, then you can take these variable. If you know that any variable is not affecting your dependent variable, then don't select the variable into your model. So variables should be appropriate. Okay, and what is next? We should consider the assumption related to the model, and the model you are going to take for your estimation. You must know about the assumption which are related to that particular model. And what is the ninth assumption? The ninth assumption is that no exact relation between independent variable. Okay, if exact relation exists, it will create the problem of multicollinearity. And when uh, there exists a multicollinearity in the data, then we cannot apply OLS on the model. Okay, there are different methods for checking the multicollinearity: correlation matrix, VIF, and tolerance. Okay, as we know that in economics variable, all variable are interlinked with each other. All economics variable have relationship with one another. But we have to check the that how much they have relationship with each other. If there exists a strong relationship between two variables, two independent variables, and the relationship is greater than 0.990%, then we can say that it is the case of high multi. And if two variables have relation with the two independent variable have relationship greater than 90%, then we cannot take both of these two variable in our model. We have to drop one of these variable from the model, so we can run OLS on the model. If multicollinearity exists in the data, it will decrease the value of t statistic, and it will increase the p value. And in case of multi, the sign of the variable changes. If in your model you suppose that your any variable have a positive sign of positive impact on your dependent variable, then due to multi this positive will become negative. So the relationship between dependent and independent variable changes because of multi. So before applying OLS, you must know that what kind of relationship exists between your independent variable. Whether the relationship between independent variable is very strong, then you can't take all these variable in your model. You have to drop those variable which have high or strong relationship with one another. Okay, so what is the last assumption? The last assumption is that x values are fixed in repeated sample. X values must be fixed in repeated sample. So this is the end for today lecture. These all are the assumption for OLS. I hope that today lecture is beneficial for you and you learn something new from it. If you have any query or question, you can ask me freely. Good luck.